to the St. Bon's Buzz. I am Drake.
And I am Kenzie. We are 5th graders at St. Bon's.
Super Saver receipts need to be turned in by Friday.
Remember, Super Saver receipts help us purchase recess equipment and supplies for our school.
Today, the Sisters of St. Francis are visiting our school.
That's exciting. I enjoy talking to the Sisters of St. Francis.
We will have a student council assembly tomorrow at 2:50.
I am excited to watch the bubblegum blowout. Check out the prize for the bubblegum blowout winner.
Wow, that's a lot of bubble gum.
Yep.
And a homework pass.
Yep, and the champ will also win an extra recess for the whole class.
Cool. Last week, Vivian and Lily told you about our newest segment on the Buzz called Father Knows Best.
Buzz fans, thank you for submitting your questions for Father Mike. Here is our kid reporter Kylie with Father Mike to answer a few of your questions.
Father Mike, thanks for having us.
Thank you for having me.
Our Buzz fans submitted a lot of questions for you. The first question is from Gus Faltis in 1st grade. He asks, how do you get to be a priest and how long does it take?
Wow, that's a great question. So, first of all, it's God calling me, not like a job where I say I want to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. So it takes a lot of prayer and other people helping to what we call discern a vocation. And you go to 4 years of college and then another 4 years of graduate school. So it's the same amount of time as a doctor or a lawyer, but it is a vocation. In other words, God calls you. And then, of course, you have to live out that vocation, and I'm happy to do that. I love everything that I do.
Wow, I didn't realize priests had to go to school for that long. Our next question is from Lily Wendedahl in 5th grade. She asks, what is your favorite part of Mass?
My favorite part of Mass is when I take the body of Christ and I say, this is my body, which will be given up for you. And then I do the same with the chalice. This is the chalice of my blood, the blood of the new and everlasting covenant. It will be given up for you, right?
Cool, my favorite part of Mass is receiving communion.
Okay, good. I like giving out communion.
Quinn Egberts in 1st grade asked, how many Masses can you do in a day?
Oh, well, I'm only supposed to do 1 Mass a day. But on the weekdays, many times I do 2 Masses a day. We can't do 3 Masses on a weekday. On Sundays, I do 4 Masses, 1 on Saturday night and 3 on Sunday. Again, I'm only supposed to do 1 Mass a day, but on Sundays, because we need it, I do 3 Masses.
That's quite a few Masses. We have another question from our 1st grader. Eli Erickson asks, does the bread taste different after it is blessed?
Oh, that's a good question. The bread does not taste different after it is blessed. Of course, it's a spiritual reality, and your 5 senses still, see it and taste it and feel it just like it is a piece of bread, but it is the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Christ. And we know that because Jesus said, this is my body and this is my blood. He doesn't say, this is like my body or this is like my blood. He says, this is my body. This is my blood. And so we have to believe it on faith when our senses don't always tell us the same.
Our final question for today is from a 4th grader. What is your favorite part about Lent?
My favorite part about Lent is when Lent starts, we have Ash Wednesday. And I love receiving the ashes and being able to tell other people that, they say, hey, you've got that dirt on your forehead. And then I have an opportunity to tell them that, hey, this reminds us that we're not going to last forever, that we are we're mortal beings and we're going to die someday, so we really need to be as holy as we possibly can. And during the whole season of Lent, and Lent is my favorite season of the year, we have an opportunity to work on our faults and failings. So this Lent, I used to read the news every day, and sometimes several times a day. But this Lent, I haven't done that at all. I haven't even gone to the websites to look at those stories, because I want to fast from those things so that I can not be so attached to the world, but be more attached to God. And so I'm trying to pray more and not be so attached to things of this world.
Thank you so much for your time, Father Mike. Well, there you have it, best friends. Make sure you submit your questions for Father Mike for our next segment of Father Knows Best. Back to you.
Thanks, Kylie and Father Mike.
Speaking of Lent, that reminds me of our Lenten rice bowl that was sent home with the oldest kid in each family.
The Lenten Rice Bowl also came with this great calendar, which encourages you to fast and give. Each day has a suggested activity and almsgiving.
Here is Mrs. A with her Mass Minute.
Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to our Mass Minute. Hey, we're almost done with Lent. If you remember last Sunday, Father was wearing that rose-colored robe, reminding us of how Jesus is going to forgive us. We just have to come back to him. That's kind of a cool thought. But Lent isn't over yet. How are you doing on your Lenten sacrifice? Did you give something up for Lent? Is it getting easier to give it up and walk past it? Or is it getting harder? Maybe you decided to take something up for Lent and do something. How are you doing with that? Are you still making the effort to do it? Is it getting easier to do it? For me, I made the decision that I was going to try to pray my rosary every day, and I was going to try to fast on Fridays. And for fasting, I was going to just eat bread and water. Oh, it's so hard to do because I get so hungry. And I want to think, oh, those M&Ms look so good. The reason that we fast during Lent or we give something up during Lent, is to help us practice walking away from something that we really want. And in this case, what we want to practice doing is walking away from those sinful things that we really like to do and we really want to do. Everything takes practice. To be really good at it, we have to keep practicing at it. Sometimes it's really easy to give in to sin. And we have to practice walking away from it, especially if it's a sin that we really like to commit. And so the part of Lent when we give something up for Lent is to help us practice giving up those sinful things and making it easier to walk away from them. So I hope you're doing a good job on your Lenten sacrifice. I know I keep trying. Sometimes I don't always do a very good job, but I remember what I heard on Sunday. Jesus is always going to forgive me no matter what I do. I just have to keep going back to him and telling him I'm sorry. So I hope that you can continue to do that as well. And then I just want to say a special note to our second graders. Our first communion is Sunday. I'm so excited for them. Do you remember your first communion? I remember mine. I remember that when I went to receive, I was so excited. When I received my first communion, I was a grown-up. I became a Catholic when I was a grown-up. And so even as a grown-up, I still remember my first communion. It's such an important and big day. And I bet everybody did this. When you went to your second communion, you went and told people, I had my second communion today, or my third communion today. And I know there's people who even came up to me at times and have said, I received my 7th Holy Communion today. We feel so excited about that. But what about the people who are older, like our 6th graders, okay? We could probably say that we're like on our 2,700th communion. Do you feel as excited about your 2,700th communion as you did your first communion? We want to always keep that love for the Eucharist alive in our heart. It should always be a big deal to receive communion. And so remember, when you go up to receive communion, show that same excitement as our 2nd graders are going to show, especially next week when they have their first communion at our school mass. You watch them. Their hands are going to be up high. They're going to be smiling. Can we keep doing that as well on our 2,700th communion? That's another thing we can keep thinking about too this week. Well, I hope you have a great week. Congratulations, 2nd graders. I hope you have a great first communion day, and keep working on those Lenten sacrifices. We're almost finished with Lent, and then we can celebrate and start using that great word that we're not allowed to say during Lent. Thanks, boys and girls. I'll see you at Mass on Friday. Bye.
Thanks, Mrs. A. Remember, Buzz fans, we want to be prayer warriors on Team Jesus.
Not sloppy slugs.
Okay, let's check out what's for lunch tomorrow.
Lunch on Thursday will be pork sausage, biscuit, baked beans, and fruit. Remember, you can bring your own lunch or eat the school lunch.
Our weather for Thursday is expected to be a little warmer with temperatures in the lower 50s.
You will still need a jacket, and don't forget your water bottle.
I almost forgot. It's Riddle Day!
Yes, I love Riddle Day.
Good, because I've got a sports riddle.
Uh-oh, I might need a little help here.
Here it is. How did the basketball players make such a mess at the bakery?
How did the basketball players make such a mess at the bakery? Gosh, I don't know.
If you guys know the answer, write it on a piece of paper with your name and give it to your teacher, or you can put it in Mrs. Hamlin's riddle box right inside the library on the black shelf.
We will see if you got it right on tomorrow's show.
Here is the riddle one more time. How did the basketball players make such a mess at the bakery?
Let's stand and pray the Memorare prayer.
Well, this is all we have time for today.
Thanks for joining us on the St. Bon's Buzz.
And check out some of these pictures of our friends.
This is my bubblegum. You're not going to catch me.
Come back here!